when an independent film comes along, it's a joy.
Yeah.
Because there's such a creative element to it, you know, creating the ambience and the sound effects and the dialogue and all the elements that go into creating that world.
Yeah. I mean, right before we started filming, you were showing me some of your work on a movie that you did, and it's just,
yeah.
I always knew that there's so much that goes into the audio side of things, but when you're breaking it down and showing it track by track and how none of that audio was actually recorded at the time of filming.
That's right.
And you just had to create this world, which
yes.
is, I'm sure, time consuming, and but also something that's pretty fun, like to be able to build something on your own.
It is. It is. I guess you shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it's always fun. There's work to it, obviously,
sure.
like anything. But you know, primarily in film, if you can capture production sound, production audio, especially with dialogue, you're always going to have a better result if you can capture it well.
Yeah.
Because ADR, a dialogue replacement, is useful. It can be done, but it's very difficult to replicate the emotion and the delivery from the actors. So
right.
the better production sound, the better post audio is going to be.
Yeah. Well, and with that ADR, I'm sure it's the biggest challenge is like, I'm sure actors are always just thinking about the timing, you know, just like, I've got to get these words to make it look like I'm actually saying them on screen.
Yeah.
But then I think with that, it probably gets a little robotic and like there's less emotion. And so I'm sure that's a challenge. I'm sure you're kind of producing at that point too, to where you're having to get them in the right mood to do the thing. So
if the director or producers can't be involved, then you have to take those shoes.
Wow.
And that can be tough because you're trying to engineer, and being an engineer and a producer at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And it really is about, I think, not just the timing, because timing can be adjusted. There's plugins for that to a point. But yeah, the delivery, the emotion of the moment, to bring that actor back to that place that they were in the shot, that's the hardest part.
Oh yeah.
So the times when the director can be there, even virtually, to help coach is usually a better experience.
How often do you have, so are you doing most of the ADR here in the studio in your vocal booth? Okay, so actors will come here to do that.
That's true. I'd say 90% of the time. Through COVID and everything, it was a bit different. We had to rely on remote production, remote studios, and then the files were sent to me, and that's a little more difficult because you're not there to help guide the process. But you know, that's the way the world works, and sometimes you have to work through it.
Sure. And so you also do Foley work, mostly in this room, I think you said. So what kind of things are you typically recording?
Oh, it's a lot of footsteps. You'd be amazed at how, if you watch any movie, you know, it's every footstep, every movement of a shirt or cloth has to be added, usually because it's not always captured with the production sound. Or it might be buried in the noise of the room too much, you can't hear it well. So yeah, I'll get out a series of shirts, I'll get out some shoes, we'll put them in this room. If it's a wooden floor, we can use the wooden floor here. If it's carpeting, we can bring in a carpet and do that too.
Sure.
If it's outdoor, we'll go out in the driveway and in the evening when it's quieter usually, and try to capture footsteps. So I love doing that kind of stuff. It's just fun to create those elements that I think most people don't think about when they watch the movie, but that's not the point. You don't want them to think about them. You want them to be in the moment.
Yes. So
that's what helps, I think Foley helps to do, is to bring that reality to it.
I think when you do it well, yeah, you, like the clip that you just showed me, there's a guy shoveling, and I wouldn't have known that that wasn't what it actually was capturing. In fact, that opening shot in that film was shot in the forest, and it was late at night and it was dark, so they had a generator going, a loud gas generator, so there was no way to capture anything that was usable. Wow. So that entire scene had to be rebuilt in post, which was a fun challenge. Yeah.
But yeah, the shovel digging, you know, we just went outside and found some dirt, took the field audio mixing kit out there and captured it.
That's awesome. And so it takes a long time, I'm guessing, because that was just a little clip, and I saw so many of the audio tracks that created that. How long does it take to do a typical movie, let's say like a feature-length film?
Well, some of it depends upon the demands put on you. There's timelines, but this particular film took almost a year in post audio. There was a lot of back and forth on different elements and things that need to be tweaked, things that could be done better.
Yeah.
That's part of it too, I think, is just being open to criticism, you know, because you're going to get a lot of it at times, and not taking it personally.
Sure.
And help it be a better product in the end is what matters.